Welcome back. For our final winter treat today, we're going to make sticky date pudding. Not just a favourite with the Wilson family, but with a lot of people I know. It's pretty simple to make, but there's just a few little easy steps to follow. To make it, we're going to need 250 grams of pitted dates, 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, 125 grams of softened butter, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 3/4 cups of self-raising flour, and 1.5 cups of boiling water. To start things off, we just need to chop up our dates. We don't want them too big in the cake, or otherwise you're just going to cop a full one here and there. You just want it nice and small. So when you finally cut all your dates up, we can get on to the next step. Put in our bicarb soda on top of them and our 1.5 cups of boiling water, and we just leave these to sit now. Give them a bit of a stir to get the bicarb through, and the bicarb sort of starts to break them down a bit and the water gets soaked into them and they soften up nicely for our pudding. So now put your dates to the side, grab a bowl, and we'll move on to the next step. For this, we just need our softened butter and the brown sugar and the vanilla. And we just want to whisk this. I'll just fire up this old girl now. As you can see, it's clearly not my hand beaters. So just working this round, this is what we call creaming the mixture. And we just want it to go into a nice sort of fluffy texture, and it'll lose its colour a little bit as well. I think these beaters are about to die. So I don't actually think that these old hand beaters are up to the job. So I'm just going to spin my mixture out of them. There we go. So apparently the beaters work fine as long as they're not actually beating anything. So I'll just put them aside. I think I'll just use my spatula to finish. And you're just working it through now, getting it up to room temperature. The more you move it around, it sort of melts it a bit with a bit of sort of like friction in there. And just work that around, and that's about what we're going for there. So just a nice smooth paste. Now to this, we're going to add our eggs, just one at a time. And you just want to work your eggs through. So, of course, if you've got hand beaters that were made in the last 30 years, this job's a little bit easier with that, but it's fine with a spatula like this. You'll see when the egg's all been absorbed, because it's sort of at the moment, you can tell it's all sort of split out a bit, and it'll all come together nicely once it's formed. And that's when we add our next egg. Whew. Try and keep it in the bowl if you can as well. So now we'll add our next egg. Double yolker. Maybe my luck's starting to change. Working this through. I think now it might be loose enough. Maybe we can give the beaters another try, because I don't want to give up on them yet. Obviously they've still got some years left in them. So just creaming this up like this means that you can get some air into the mixture, and that's what's going to make your cake nice and light and fluffy. It should take about 1 or 2 minutes. Cool. So when you see that starting to form together, it's time to add your flour. Just add half of your flour and fold it through a little bit. Next half in. That sort of helps you avoid getting big lumps of flour in there. So give this a bit of a tidy up as well. Work that through, and we're nearly there, so I hope you're still sticking with me. So now that we've formed this back into a base paste again, it's time to add our dates and the liquid. And now just combine all this mix together, and then it's ready to go in the oven. So work this through for about a minute, making sure you get it nice and smooth. And this is just the base part of our cake. Next we're going to make the simple sauce for it. And remember to have your oven preheating now as well. My oven's on 180 degrees, so I hope yours is too. So now that's formed into a nice smooth batter, we can get that into a dish, which I've already pre-greased. If you want to, you can put baking paper on the bottom, but I don't really think it's necessary. So in it goes. Spread it around nice and evenly so it rises evenly in the oven. And straight in to our preheated oven for around 30 to 35 minutes. It's been 35 minutes, so it's time to grab our pudding out of the oven. And it looks and smells fantastic. We're just going to put it aside though, because we're going to make our sauce now. And if we tried to take our pudding out right away, it would be much too loose. For our sauce, we're going to need 300 mils of cream, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 60 grams of butter, and 1 cup of brown sugar. Start by adding your butter to the saucepan. That's a little bit hot, so I'm just going to take that off. You don't want your butter to burn, so you just want to melt it. If it starts to burn, it changes the flavour. So to that, I'm going to add our sugar now and let that cook. So the sauce we're making for this sticky date pudding is just a pretty basic caramel sauce. And now that butter is fully melted, or almost, close enough, we can add our cream. And then we're just going to bring this up and it should all come together nicely. Give that another stir. Turn it up on high. So now all your ingredients have been added to the pan. You just got to let that come up to the boil and you'll notice it sort of comes together. At the moment you can see it's sort of all split, there's all butter and stuff everywhere. But it'll form into a nice thick creamy caramel sauce as soon as it comes to the boil. So even though I've eaten so much already, I still always make room for sticky date because I love it so much. So I've cut a nice bit there. The sauce is ticking away beautifully. I recognise this one from a certain metalwork class. So serve yourself up a nice piece. Grab your nice caramel sauce. You can tell it's ready to go because it's quite a bit darker and you can see in the colour. And you can also, if you look closely, see the air bubbles are more concentrated in it. So take your spoon and just as much as you want over there. I love caramel sauce, so I'll put plenty on mine. And then, because that's so sweet and so rich, I like to just serve it just with a little bit of cream as well. And it makes it go down a bit easier. And there we have a delicious sticky date pudding. Even with those dodgy old beaters, still came out looking that good. So yours at home should look even better. Thanks to Claire for sending in the request for mushroom risotto, and I hope I've answered all your questions, but she's also given us an idea. In the coming weeks, we want to do a show where we fix all your kitchen dramas. So jump on the website and send in a recipe you're having trouble with and tell me what's going wrong. And then hopefully I can answer all your questions as well and fix one of those dramas for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Can I do it? Can I?